Our time in Querétaro has come to an end. It's now that point where we reflect on how much it cost us to have this amazing adventure. Hi everybody, our time in Querétaro has finally come to an end. And so it's that point where we go back and we reflect on how much did this cost us. We have to be able to break this down.
Yeah, this is important to us because obviously we're just beginning our retirement journey. So, we think we know what we want to do, but we're now really doing it. So it's important for us to track things, learn things, and then of course do the numbers and see how we're doing. So that's what we're going to go with you through now.
So let's establish for you out there, but also for ourselves really, what are the things that are important to us? What are our goals? What are the things that are driving how we spend our money? So I'm going to go through a list of those, and we're just going to talk about that together, okay? So first one, we are not extreme shoestring budget folks. So we don't want to blow our retirement savings, but we're not on a shoestring like some folks might.
We are not nomads. We are not looking to scrimp and save and that become what we do. We are really also not wanting, we don't get a lot out of overindulging in over luxurious things. So we know what we want. We're going to talk about that, but I think it's important to know that that's really important to us, that we enjoy our time while we're out here.
Now, we do have a budget for the overall year. We kind of look at that each year. And so because of that, we may have some expensive trips, but then we may balance that, and we're going to balance that with some less expensive trips. So you're going to see some variations there, but there is a method to that madness.
Yeah, like we said, I think in an earlier video, we're going to budget annually and manage kind of monthly and quarterly.
Now, one of the first things that's important to us is to pick a place to stay and do it really smartly. So that's going to be one of the important things to us. We're going to want to have things like a king-size bed.
Yeah.
That's important.
Wi-Fi. Fast Wi-Fi.
Absolutely. A television. How else are we going to watch reruns of RuPaul, right? Mm-hmm. So clearly that's important. We need really good light. We found that that's important.
Good light, modern bathrooms, non-cluttered. We don't need luxurious and we don't need a tremendous amount of space, but we really are figuring out that those are the things that matter to us and that we really want to look for and that we're willing to pay for, to get what we want.
And like one of the things that's not important to us is a kitchen, because we hope to eat out a lot. So it doesn't have to be a big kitchen. So that's one of the things we would compromise on.
Yeah, it's one of the things we're actually learning. We cook a lot at home, but we found on this trip so far we haven't needed to cook that much, and we kind of over-prioritize. We have a great kitchen here and we're not using it at all. So that's something we can compromise on when we need to.
And that brings us to how important eating is to us. So that's important, right? That's important to a lot of us. But we like to have good meals. So at times we may prioritize eating out, restaurants. Now we may splurge every now and again, but we're going to try to balance that with, cheaper breakfasts or lunches or something.
And on this trip, we've really loved and have taken full advantage. We've gone to some nice places, but it's been amazing some of the food we've had for very reasonable prices.
Now, experiences are extremely important to us too. I mean, that's probably the main reason why we're doing all of this, right? Yeah. So we're going to have maybe more money than others geared towards things like tours and museum trips and whatever it is that is unique to the area where we're visiting. We're going to set some money aside to
it's important to us to learn. We're both very cerebral and like to learn, and even if we are kind of on our Spanish right now, it makes a lot of value to us to have somebody tell us stories and history and that kind of thing, and we found we really enjoy and are willing to pay for that.
Now, other expenses we will keep under control. For example, transportation, T-Mobile. Like we have T-Mobile, so we're not going to spend a lot on phone and data because we have a pretty good plan.
We have a great
plan. Not a sponsor.
And we are not sponsoring. In fact, we just went to them after many years and even working at one of the other companies. T-Mobile Magenta 55 rocks, and it works perfectly here in Mexico, just like at home. But yeah, and we took one Uber, and that was to get from the airport to our place. We're doing a lot of walking, and really enjoy that. So those are expenses so far, at least for sure on this trip, that we haven't had to spend much money on, and have been great.
And another thing that you won't see actually included in our cost is healthcare. So we are just going to rely on our existing healthcare plan in the United States. Now we have added, in addition to that, extended coverage for international travel and coverage when we travel internationally.
Yeah, right before this trip we got Geo Blue, which is an overlay to your U.S. policy. And it's good for multiple trips for both of us for all year for a very little amount of money. So we felt good about that.
Mm-hmm. Now we want to try to keep everything said and done. The average cost per day for our lodging, our dining, our experiences, all of that, we want to keep that down to about $150 a day. Now that's going to vary. For example, when we go to more expensive cities like Paris or something, that's probably going to have to go up. If we go to less expensive places, it may go down. But that's about where we're going to keep it, and that's going to keep us, give us an idea of how we're doing it.
Yeah, and we feel good about that, because if you think about it, we are not at home eating and transporting and all that right now. Obviously, we have a home back in D.C., but there's some offset, because if we were at home, we would be eating, even through our meal service and going out and that kind of stuff. So we feel good about $150 a day for an average, understanding that some of that's offset, that we're not spending at home while we're here.
Okay, so all of that said and done, let's get to the numbers. So let's break it down. Our trips vary in length, so we will divide the final total by the number of days of the trip. So this particular trip for Queretaro was 10 days. We are not including our airfare in this, but our airfare was $1,444. But that also it will include another trip as part of that. So generally, we're not going to include airfare because it just varies so much.
Yeah.
The rest of these items, though, are included in our final total. So our lodging, we're usually going to stay at an Airbnb or a hotel, was $1,127, and we stayed at a hotel this time.
We stayed at a hotel this time, and it was great. And it included breakfast, so I guess you'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, it was a really nice hotel.
Yeah. Experiences, so that included some money we spent on some tours, and you're going to see some videos or already have around some of the tours that we've taken through Bernal, and there were some museums wine and cheese, so things like that. That was very reasonable cost of $279.
And that was a private guide, by the way.
Yeah, so
we were on a private guide with just the two of us, with private transportation and a guide the whole day. So I thought that was pretty reasonable. Yeah.
Dining, that ended up being a total of $371. How do you think we did on that?
I think we did well on that, but it's a little deceiving, because our hotel included breakfast every day, and we just went over the hotel number. That included an amazing breakfast every day, and frankly, it was so good. We ate that and probably only one other meal every day.
Mm-hmm. And because of that, we spent zero on groceries this trip, so that's good.
That's good.
Transportation, very little. It's a extremely walkable pueblo city. So the only transportation we had to take was an Uber from the airport to the center of town, to our airport, our Airbnb, our hotel, and then we were good. And then the final cost was around just some personal cost. You bought a few things?
Bought a couple of things that we were really intrigued by for our place back home. And that was $110. That was just buying stuff for our house back home.
Okay, so the total of all of that added up to $1,902. With the number of days being 10, that averages a cost per day of $190. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about that?
I think it's pretty good. I know, obviously, that personal cost, that's us buying stuff. So, folks don't have to do that. And, I think overall pretty good. It's higher than we had expected.
It's higher.
For our goal of 150. But you can see clearly that it's probably the experiences that pushed it over, along with my personal.
I also think it's the number of days.
Yeah,
It's a short trip.
That's right.
And we had a reasonable cost hotel, or actually a little maybe higher than what we would probably usually spend. So if we had been in Querétaro much longer,
Yeah,
that would have
evened
averaged
out.
so much better.
It would even out.
So, and you will probably see, and we hope this will happen, that we will take longer trips in the future of like a month or more, and that's going to help with the cost, and we're going to have a bigger vacation. So
I think you're right.
that's
It's more
fantastic.
days, likely at the same place for a month, where you get the benefit of the monthly expense, and then anything we do like tours and personal items will be spread over a number of days that won't make it such a big part of the equation.
Yeah.
But I think we did well.
I think we did well. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed the cost breakdown. If this is something that you all are interested in and you want us to do more with each trip, please let us know in the comments. That would be very helpful to us.
Yeah.
So thanks for
watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching our video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, check out our interactive Google map that tracks the locations where all of our videos take place. Finally, check out our merchandise store where you can create fully personalized t-shirts, greeting cards, mugs, and more, all of which help support the growth of our channel. See you next time.